Hello, my name is Madona Syombua. I am an Android GDE and also an Android engineer at Streem Inc. And today I'll be talking to you about shortcuts in Android. Around August this year, I asked my fellow Android engineer what their favorite shortcuts were. The responses were amazing. In this video, I will show you tricks and tips and great shortcuts that I use in my day-to-day development, and also share some of the amazing responses from the tweet. As you can see, my tweet gained over 12.5k impressions and got over 53 replies, great replies, all of them. And one common thing that I noticed is that most of the mentioned shortcuts are what I use to. For instance, one user said Command, Shift, and 8 for column selections. And then she also said Shift F6 for quick renaming of vowels and classes. That's a pretty good one. Command D for duplicate line of code. I like that one too. Another user says 2 times left shift, and I would love to get that implemented in all the apps I work with. Easy and fast. How cool is that? This one though was very intriguing. I use double shift so often in my life that I'm actually annoyed that other programs do not have that hotkey shortcut by default. And today, to be fair, I will be trying that later on because I don't use that very much and I find it pretty interesting because it was mentioned so many times. Another amazing user says, when looking at an interface method, Option, Command, and B to see implementation. I use that very much. Oh, and Command plus open bracket and Command plus close bracket to navigate back and forward but they changed that. What a bummer. This other one, I use it very much, which is in Search and Everywhere. I find it pretty useful. I think of it might be similar with a shift, but not sure. We'll try it on my Android IDE. But I've used this very much where when I want to search things, I can just see them pretty quick. And let me see, another user said, Control plus right click to navigate where methods are called or a class, which is awesome too. And Doug said, personally, I love Option, Shift, and click for multi-cursor. Option Enter to correct errors. Command Option and L. I love this one. This one helps me auto format my code, which is super awesome. Command E to navigate through recent file. And Shift again. Yes, we need to try that one. Shift to search everywhere. Another user says Alt F4. Just kidding. My favorite one is Control Shift plus I and S for multi-line. I bet this might be Windows because I don't think I might be wrong. I might need to try that, but it's super cool. And now, with that said, as you can see here, before I used to go through the long route, but I will demonstrate later on in my video on how I now use it. And more shortcuts. So Control Q docs for docs, Control N search files, Control B go to declaration. And as you can see, as I mentioned before, we are all the same. We Android engineers assemble. We all have the same commands. Looks like we're all the same. Nobody has unique. I'm just joking. Anyway, we have a Control Alt E. I don't know what that is for, but I think I mentioned it before. Control Alt and O. I think I use that one a lot. Control Alt, and I think this one sounds more like it's for Windows. And just to mention, I'll be using a MacBook Pro. I'll mention this too on the video too, just to make sure that when I start using my IDE, so that everybody can have their keys aligned, their shortcuts aligned. And guess what? I'm so happy. And it's through this beauty and simplicity. Yeah, we need the shortcuts. And also, just to mention in advance that each and every OS has different shortcuts. And today I'm going to be using a MacBook Pro, just in case you're wondering if you're trying to use them and they're not working. It's good just to mention. And before that, I also want to talk about why I have some unused inputs here. It's because I want to demonstrate one of my most used commands, which really helps me before I push my work for review. And I find this pretty useful because you can just run this in most of the classes you've been altering, because it helps you, especially when you push up your work if you're a junior developer and you're getting the feedback from your colleagues on, hey, like, remove this input. You don't want so many lines based on that. It's good to have lines on where you're being asked to improve a code other than removing unused input. So the best one that I go to is Option Command O, which removes all those inputs. As you will see in few minutes, all the inputs are removed. So if you had, like, let's say 100, which I know I'm exaggerating, if you had, let's say 10, they would be all gone. Also, something else that I like very much is the Option Command L, which formats all my lines. But as you can see, no lines change it, so it's pretty cool. So the lines of, so my code looks good, or the design is as par. And also another one that I like very much is when, let's say for instance, I want to duplicate a line of code. Let's say like this line. I'm just going to pick that line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do Command D, which just duplicates it, and I'll just do an enter, and you can see we have 2 identical line of codes. How cool is that? Now, I like this one. However, I don't use it so much, which is the Command Shift plus 8, which is like more useful for column selections. Also, this is another one that I love to use mostly when I'm trying to comment out a code when I have a problem and I'm trying to figure out what's happening on my code. So I just select my work and then I do Shift and Control and /. And as you can see, it commented the code. If I want to go back and just get back my code, I'll just do the same, which is Shift Control and then /, and it uncomments my line, which is super cool. And another one that I like to use is when you're trying to find things. When you're trying to find things in your Android Studio, I know this was mentioned by so many people in the tweet section. And what I normally do is on my laptop, I do Control Shift F, and that brings up everything that I want to search, and I can see everything, and I see also the usages. However, there is another amazing shortcut to that too. If you want to see, let's say, where the view model is from or it's used, you can just hover around here, or you can do Command B on it, or you can just do Command and then put your cursor here and try to go in it. As you can see, it's not showing us as many, but if you were there, it would show you. But if I wanted to see, let's say, let me see, if I wanted to see where value is used, it would definitely, and this one helps also if you want to read on also what it's about. So definitely that helps a lot. Now, another one that got an amazing comment that I'm also going to read about. I remember a comment that said, I use double shift so often in my life that I'm actually annoyed that other programs do not have that hotkey shortcut by default. So I'm going to do that one. So to be honest, I don't use the double shift app. I mean, I saw it from the comment and I was like, whoa, I need to start using that. And after I discovered it, I find it pretty useful. So you can do shift, and as you can see, it's the same. Just you search everything you want to find. Now, if you also want to navigate through recent files, you can do Command E, and you should be able to do that. Another amazing tip that a colleague of mine at work shared with me. Let's say, for instance, here, we know it here is an integer, and I wanted to see if my code was changed. Before, I would do local history, show history, and then I would start comparing, like, okay, so this is how everything was before, and now this is how it's altered. That's what I used to do. But my colleague gave me an amazing shortcut, and she told me you can actually, so I'm going to do this here. So let's say int here is going to be a task, and everywhere we're calling an int, let's change it to task. If you noticed, there's this blue thing over here. I saw this blue thing so many times, but I didn't know what it was for. But now, when you hover around this blue highlight over here, it shows you what has been changed, and you can see it highlights it such that you know before there was nothing and now there's task. How cool is that? And also here, as you can see, the default change list, it shows you before there was it, now there is task. I find this pretty useful, especially if you're trying to see line by line. But the logo history one too is pretty good if you want to see the entire file, because this one otherwise highlights just the little option. As you can see, this is how it looks like. I don't think I've altered anything there. It's just budget in, budget rewrite and compose here, which is super cool. And I say you can run a preview, but we need more plugins there. So other than that, those are amazing tips and tricks that I have, and I know there are other amazing out there that I've missed or not mentioned, but I'm gonna mention them in the video through a slide of tweets. And thank you very much. Please feel free to post more of your shortcuts that you use in your day-to-day work, and also don't forget to subscribe for more short clips with GDEs. Thank you.